Let me share my screen. Today I'm going to do the setup for subledger accounting under payable, how to do our custom setups. I'm going to show you. So compared to our EBS, so what is the accounting method overview flow in our Fusion application? At the time of creating our ledger, so we are going to attach our 4C. That 4th C, it is nothing but our subledger accounting method. So that accounting method, it is like a standard accrual or cash basis. It consists of n number of entry rule set. And then what is the meaning of entry rule set? It is nothing but one debit deriving, kind of a line, and it will how derive the rule along with your description like a header or a line, and then supporting references. So combination of one or a multiple, it will create our one journal entry that will be for like a standard invoice or a debit memo or a credit memo or any kind of transaction type or a payment, etc. It will be created as a rule set. That rule set will be unplugged and plugged into our payable and through our standard accrual our own. So how to do this particular setup? So where we have to start first. So I want to do one case study for one debit, one credit, how to derive the accounting rule and journal line rule, and how to set it through our rule set, and then how it can be plugged into our accounting method, and how it will associate it to our specify ledger options through our primary ledger. So let me navigate to my Excel board, which I'm going to explain now first. So first step, I'm going to start with creating accounting rule. So this is nothing but derivation rule, ADR, accounting derivation rule in our EBS. So first I'm going to create for a standard invoice with respect to our AP module, first manage account rule I'm going to create. So already some liability account codes are there. I want to set it as a constant, how it is going to supersede, I'm going to show you. So let me click on manage account rule. So navigation, I will go to application under setup and maintenance window. Let me click on account rule. Under payable, I'm going to select like a functional area and then click on that particular task. So already many rules are available, but we are going to create our own custom rule for our class. So let me use my F01, you can say account rule, liability account rule. So liability, AP, liability accounts, and then rule. Let me copy and then paste here. Paste here. So the code is missing here, that I will put it. Now I can select my chart of account from the list of values. So whether you want to do it for a particular segment or a particular value set or an entire code combination, we have to identify. So next step, I'm going to click on rule. So rule type, account combination, rule instead of this derivation rule can be created with the help of your source. This is nothing but our table, and mapping set, it is nothing but individual our AR module, how we will do an company has to take it from the transaction type. So likewise, the relevant mapping set also can be done similar like our EBS. Now I can select a constant for our class. I'm going to provide the account code called 2220. So that I'm going to set. The condition I don't want to give. If you want, you can give payable invoice type. So payable invoice type. Payable invoice type. Source I can select as a payable. I can select as a payable. And then I can select payable invoice type. Payable invoice type. So you can use many methods like distribution account or anything. So we are looking for invoice type. Let me scroll down. Any rule we can choose. The distribution type is also there. Distribution type is also there. Invoice header or business group. Anything we can choose. So I can search line type. Invoice type. I can choose. Invoice means header level. Line means like an item or XYZ. Invoice type. Payable invoice type. Operator equal to standard. Equal to standard. So validate the rule. It is completed. So now I am going to do save and create another. Save and create another. So liability has been completed. Now we need a expenses account. You need an expenses account. The same thing which I copied here. Instead of liability, I can choose AP invoice. Instead of liability, I can use EXP rule. So the same chart of account I can select from the list of value. Then click on row. Click on row. So previously I selected as a constant. Now I'm going to choose as a source. Now I'm going to choose as a source. Source means we have to give a table name. So that table name, it's nothing but invoice distribution account. So the debit, it is going to pick it from the respective distribution window. Source type, invoice distribution type, invoice distribution account, invoice distribution account, and then save and close, and then save and close. So one debit, one credit is ready, and then I'm going to click on description rule. Description rule. Let me go to my description rule. If you want, I can copy this rule, so I can navigate to my respective. One debit is over, one credit is over. For a payable module, I'm going to click on description rule. So many description rules are there. I'm use my invoice header description. I'm going to copy invoice header description. Let me click here and then copy here. So I can use AF01 AP invoice header description. Copy this and then paste this and then save and close. So it will inherit the information which is already given by Oracle. Either you can accept or we can modify many of the information within this. And then save and close. And then save and close. So we have just completed one, like one invoice with respect to one debit and one credit also we completed. And then one header level description also over. Next I'm going to create one manage journal line rule. This is called JLT in our EBS. This is called JLT in our EBS. So let me copy this and then I will go back to my setup and maintenance window. Setup maintenance window. Let me click on this. Select the source as a payable and then let me click on create. Let me click on create. Ensure this particular properly it is loaded this particular page and then you can click on create. So now I am going to create for one liability line rule. One liability line rule. So F01 AP invoice liability line and then rule. Line rule we can call it as. So I can select my event class. It is called invoice. Invoice I'm going to select. It is nothing but our liability is coming under credit. What is the account class? You can say liability. Is there any merging or changes? We can do it. Then I'm going to navigate to my class. Everything is fine. I don't want any condition. So straight away I can go for create another. Create another. So similarly, I want to create another rule for expenses. So let me paste here. I can choose my expenses here. Expenses line rule. Account journal line rule we can call it as expenses line rule. So event class again invoices, it is a debit, and then accounting class accrual or item we can select. Accrual or item we can select. Item expenses I can select from the list of value and then I can click on save and close. Save and close. Save and close. It is an active at the moment. So all like journal accounting rule and the next one journal line rule and the description together I'm going to create a rule set. Together I'm going to create a rule set. So navigation I will navigate to my rule set window and the setup and maintenances. So journal rule and then set. Manage subledger journal entry rule set. Let me go to my manage subledger journal entry rule set. I think it is here. Let me click on it. Let me click on that particular task. Click on that particular task. Let me click on create. So I'm going to give my number. You can say AP invoice journal entry rule set. Copy and then paste. Event class invoices, event type all I can select. Chart of account I can select from the list of value. That is called F01. F01. Description rule which I already created, which I'm going to attach here. So derive based on our accounting event date. Event date. So now listen carefully. I'm going to create a line. First line for our debit with respect to expenses and then credit with respect to liability. So let me click here. Let me click here. Let me click here. So type I can select debit. So F01 tab. To rule it has to be defaulted from the list of value that I'm going to select the expenses as our debit. And then rule code combination. Either you can give a segment override here or which one which I created, that is also I can select from the list. Select from the list. Similarly, I want to do another line for liability. Another line for liability. So I can choose one. read it from the list of value, and then my number tab, and then my number tab, it will come automatically with respect to my liability. So expenses and liability is over now. And then I'm going to click on save and close. Save and close. The status is showing as an incomplete. So now I can click here and then click on action. It is change the status to activate. Change the status to activate. Activate. Now I'm going to duplicate my accounting method. Before that, whether it is active or not, I'm going to check. It is in active now. Let me click on done. Let me click on done. Now I will click on manage accounting method. With respect to our payable, I'm just clicking as a source. So already we have a standard approval. It's there. Standard approval. It is there. It is a seeded given by Oracle. Click on and duplicate here. And then F01 standard approval. I'm going to name it standard approval. And then chart of account, I can select list of value and 7 rows. So it's not a mandatory. If you are more triggering with respect to your chart of account, you can select. Otherwise, the common one means without selecting also, we can very well do this. So under a payable, with respect to our invoices, with respect to our invoices, with respect to our invoices, I will put an end date call 31/12/2019, and then add another row. Add another row. I can use my invoice, all invoice type, my number tab, and then effective date 1/1/2020, 1/1/2020, and then save and close. Ensure this is also should be in active. This is also should be in active. So let me click on done. What is the next step? Let me move on to before changing this. So I'm going to assign this to my respective specify ledger options. Specify ledger options. Yeah. Specify ledger options. Ensure our scope belongs to our primary ledger. There, instead of standard approval, I will attach mine and then save and close. And then save and close. Let me log out and then re-log in. Log out and then re-log in. Re-log in. Now I'm going to enter my AP invoices. AP invoices. Ensure even though the liability account code, it is defaulted in your invoice at a 2210, whether the system is bringing 2220 automatically or not. I'm going to verify now. Let me click on create. Let me click on create. So I can select my supplier from the list of value. Supplier from the list of value, and then F01, SLA 001. I can select, and then I can enter some 10,000. SLA test. Today's date, no problem. I can enter my distribution set, it will be defaulted. So I can enter 10,000 from the list of value. Go to show more under accounting tab. Can you see this? 2210. Now let me validate. Let me validate. Let me do my create accounting. Even though it is showing a 2210, because of the mapping, it will show like a 2220 by default with the mapping rule which I assigned to my accounting method. Accounting method. So this is how the entire code combination, how it will reflected through our SLA. I just show it you here. Just a second. So now I'm going to explain another topic called this liability. The entire code combination has been changed to 01 000 220 00. Now the topic what I'm going to explain, for this supplier, the cost center I'm looking for 210 has to come. For a class point of view, how the mapping set can be used, I'm going to explain. So for that, I need a supplier name. So let me copy this from the list of value. So I just copy and I will put it in my notepad. So now let me save and close. So at the moment, the entry has come for 0002220. Now 210 how it will come. Again, I will navigate to my setup and maintenance window. Setup and maintenance window. So how to do our mapping set? I'm going to show you. So the navigation, manage mapping set. Manage mapping set. Manage mapping set. Manage mapping set. Let me click on this. So let me click on create new mapping set for our class. I can use the name called like F01 AP SUP mapping set. Mapping set. Combination, it's okay. Or at the moment it is not a combination. It is like a particular segment under payable module. So let me paste this. What is the segment I'm going to select? Input sources, I'm going to click on plus input sources. It is nothing but supplier name. I'm going to select from the list of value. Invoice or supplier name. Supplier name. Which is the one I'm looking for, my standard invoices. That I'm going to select from the list of value. I'm going to select from the list of value. Supplier name, invoices. Supplier name, invoices. Chart of account. I'm going to select my chart of account. I'm going to select, that is nothing but F01 US from the list of value. In the mappings, I'm going to select, place the cursor here, and then segment we decided for department. Then only this button will be enabled. In that input, I'm going to click on input. Let me click on add. The input name, I will give supplier name, which I already copied, so that I'm going to paste it here. I will paste it here. Department code, it is nothing but 210. So again, I'm going to create default. Default, I'm going to select. Default. So this is import. default, I'm going to set it as add another row. For other, I can say 000. Or 000. I can set here. I can set it as a default here. So default 000, but for this particular supplier, I want 210. Let me save and close. Let me save and close. Let me save and close. Click on done. Click on done. So now we completed our mapping set. So now subledger journal entry rule set, I will go. Journal entry rule set, I will go. So the one which we already created, I can search. The one which I already created, I can in that F01, which I already created. So liability expenses. Just a second. So now, after completing our mapping set, we have to define our manage accounting rule. This manage account rule, which we already created for our full segments. So now I'm going to create for a new segment. So I can use F01 AP invoices, expenses or liability map rule. Copy and paste it here. Select my chart of account. This time, instead of code combination, I'm going to select segment and then department. Now I'm going to select or create a rule, which is not like a rule. A rule is a rule for another rule or a constant we just now used. Now I'm going to select that particular F01 rule set and then save and close. Ensure this is also in active mode. Now click on done. The next one, I'm going to navigate to my subledger journal entry rule set, which we already created. I'm going to search for that. So existing rule itself, if you do modification, it's more easy to, no need to run any kind of assigning one more time to our accounting service manager through our specify ledger option. So straight away, I can go to the liability. Then what I created, we can attach here. So except this segment, remaining it will take it from here. Condition, what is the mapping set which we have given, that it will verify. So let me save this info. Ensure it is inactive and then save and close. And then save and close. So ensure then again the rule becomes incomplete if you are going to do a modification. If you are going to do a modification. So what we have to do, I already told you. So we have to set it as an active. Go to action and then we have to go to active. It could be activate. It is called validate in our EBS. It is called validate in our EBS. So no need to assign the rule which has been already assigned to our respective accounting method. So no need to do anything. So no need to assign your respective specify ledger option also. So straight away, I'm going to sign out and sign in, sign out and sign in, sign out and sign in. Ensure whether it is pick the 210 department for our Dell supplier. I'm going to verify. Dell supplier, I'm going to verify. Dell supplier, I'm going to verify. So let me confirm and then I will re-log in once again for a refresh purpose. A refresh purpose. So now I'm just clicking on payable, invoices, create invoices through the task panel. Create invoice. through the task panel. So now again I will select my supplier from the list of value, and then F01 SLA 02 11,000 I can put, and then SLA map set test. Expand the same. I can enter 11,000. So I have just defined a mapping set only for a liability account. So at the moment, let me go to show more and then click on accounting. So two things we are going to verify. This will be changed to 2220. For this particular supplier, it has to come like a 210 department. So now I can validate this particular invoice and then do my create accounting. Ensure it has been successfully completed. I can show you the output, whether the 210 came automatically with the help of our mapping set. If it is in any other supplier, it will take like a triple zero. For this particular supplier, it will take 210. This is how this particular topic has been successfully completed.